Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgimon, and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Hunter x Hunter Chapter 403. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? Honestly, I thought this week's chapter was fantastic because it really established the chaos that the succession war is about to begin, because it's already begun, but we get to see more of a bloodbath, especially because we see Prince Benjamin making his moves, Hulkenberg trying to survive, because he's like the number one target by Prince Benjamin. We also see Prince Sang Lee, trying to make some alliances with Kurapika. Kurapika's trying to find a way to make Prince Wobble survive this whole entire thing, as well as we see Melody and Skyer, they're trying to protect Prince Fugetsu. So it's like a lot of things going down, and it was great, development and great tension that, to set up the stakes going forward in this war. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Hunter x Hunter, as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. Now, one thing to know before continuing with this chapter, you might be wondering, like, oh, where are you at right now? So currently my girlfriend is snoring very loud in the hotel room, so I could not shoot my video because right now I'm outside of town. I'm at a wedding. If you didn't see my Dress Up Darling review, then you probably already know. I'm currently at a wedding out of town, so I'm staying in a hotel, and my girlfriend's being very loud snoring, so I was not gonna wake her up for a video, so instead I'm in the car. But yeah, there's a little context on what's going on. Now, with all that yapping out of the way, let's get into this fantastic chapter. So this chapter starts off right where we see pretty much Balsamico, I think that's the guy's name, Prince Benjamin's like right-hand man, how he's trying to make the move on Hulkenberg like we set up last time, where we see that he's going to try to poison him when he's in the burrow, during the trial. He's going to try to kill Hulkenberg with the disease, the one that's like air spread and all that. And we see that as he approaching, the burrow, in the second floor or whatever, you see that he's like, okay, there's nobody there, none of his followers are there, this should be an easy dub, I got this on lock. And does he get it on lock? Not exactly, because what we see is actually as he's approaching the burrow, he realizes like, yo, something's off. Like, why is it like nobody's here? Or this seems way too easy. And then as he approaches, he sees another like security guard kind of guy that works under him, and he's doing like silent like military sign language, is like, yo, we know his ability is. And the second that happens, we see all these people like being manipulated by pretty much Hulkenberg, and they use their Nen, and they shoot like this Nen arrow at Balsamico. And pretty much that was the rumbling that we felt last chapter, where I myself, I didn't know about it because somebody in my comment section from the previous chapter mentioned it. Thankfully, whoever it was, I want to give a huge shout out to you guys, to you specifically, because they mentioned how there was a shaking that Melody heard last chapter, and that shaking must have been this Nen arrow. Originally, we thought that it might have been that Hulkenberg got assassinated. Completely wrong. It was this Nen arrow that shake the floor and all that. Balsamico was able to escape, but he alerts Prince Benjamin like, hey, we gotta listen, Hulkenberg's ability, he can manipulate anybody, so we gotta be on check on that. And we see that because he's like a manipulator, this is Nen ability. And Hulkenberg, pretty much he's the main focus for Prince Benjamin, because Prince Benjamin wants to get him out of here. And we see that pretty much Prince Benjamin is like, hey, I'll tell you what, Balsamico, if you do not get me Hulkenberg's head, it's gonna be all on you, and I'm gonna say that you're doing a coup d'etat. So you better, for your sake, you better capture Hulkenberg, because I'm not letting you come back if you don't. So you see that guy's like, no, I got it unlocked, don't worry. And as that's happening, we see that pretty much we also catch up with Skyer, and we see that he's talking to Prince Benjamin, and he's pretty much being like, hey, here's the letter. And Prince Benjamin is still thinking about the letter that Fugetsu gave them, and he's just like, this is like nonsense, because in the letter there's also a section in the story where we see that Skyer is telling them like, oh, there's this rumor going around about Prince Hulkenberg's mom actually being the first queen instead of the second queen, and the reason is so the succession war rankings would be all shambles, it would be all thrown out. And that's not the case, because Prince Benjamin, or it might not be the case, might be the case, whatever the case, Hulkenberg is like, yeah, pretty much what's not Hulkenberg, Prince Benjamin is like, yeah, I don't believe any of that, that's just tabloids, it's nonsense, it doesn't make any sense, I'm not gonna buy into it. And you see Scar like, man, this guy's like he's not bodging at all. However, as long as we gave him a little bit of doubt, that's all that we need, because this guy cannot be the winner at all, because we already established in the previous chapters that Skyr does not want him to be the winner at all. And as the chapter continues, we also see that Skyr is, you know, talking to Melody and, you know, the other bodyguard lady, I can't remember her name. They're talking about Fugetsu's health, and they're like, okay, well, we got to make this fast. We got to make sure that we can, you know, get rid of all these threats so we can get Fugetsu out of here and, you know, save her from any danger. And as that's happening, we also catch up with Prince Sang Lee. And this guy, he's talking about his Nen ability with the coins. I believe he can spam up to 10 coins at a time, and something along the lines like, you know, the numbers are changing on these coins, and he doesn't know anything about Nen, so he's all blind about it. And, you know, everybody's giving their own theory, like, oh, his bodyguards, and Adventure's like, man, I need someone proficient about Nen. And he's like, that somebody needs to be Kurapika. So we are establishing that, you know, this guy's going to use Kurapika's help going forward in the story to find out more about Nen. And there's something that Kurapika does at the end of the chapter that will open the door to that. And as that's happening, we also see that we hear that Skyr, like how he gave the letters to the other princess, and, you know, how apparently Serenich was the only one that just tossed it away. So that's a nice little fun thing to note. And as the chapter was finishing up, we also saw that pretty much Sang Lee, as he's talking to his bodyguards, he, like I said, he wants to meet Kurapika, and then we see that Kurapika is talking about, like, okay, well, what's going down with Walkenberg? Like, we see that pretty much Skyr, he is trying to get more info about Walkenberg and how he's dealing about. And we see that one of his informants, he goes, meets up with him, and he's like explaining to him how Hulkenberg's ability works. And it's pretty much like, you know, it relieves them from stress. Like, it's more manipulation in the sense that they become overwhelmed by the joy of not having anxiety and all that, so they're becoming his followers, something along those lines. So that's he's able to manipulate the people. Whatever the case is, he's talking to this guy. I believe he's gonna get info on Walkenberg, because he's Walkenberg's like second right-hand man or something. So he goes to talk to him, and then the guy's like, well, you obviously know about Nen, because otherwise you wouldn't have gone to Walkenberg. If you knew about Nen, like, you wouldn't go there. But if you didn't know about Nen, you would have definitely gone to Walkenberg and got demolished. And that's happening. He's like, okay, well, I gotta tell you one thing, man. Yeah, Prince Walkenberg, yeah, he's gonna die. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but he's gonna die. And we see that Skyr's like, what? And as that's happening, we catch to pretty much the guy, what's his name, Balsamic. He's talking to Prince Benjamin. He's like, hey, the job's done. Like, it got taken care of. Walkenberg got rid of. So, and we see that Walkenberg's in like a bed. It looks like he's like recovering, because he did faint. They did bring that up earlier in the chapter, how he fainted. And I'm assuming the reason that he's saying that, you know, Prince Walkenberg will perish is because he knows about Prince Benjamin's, you know, right-hand man, Balsamic, trying to poison him. And now that he's, you know, knocked out in the infirmary or whatever, he's going to try to get him for the kill. And how the chapter ends up is where we catch up back with Kurapika, and we see that he is talking to the queen, you know, Wobble's mom, and he's like, hey, don't worry, I'm going to make this, you know, strategic play where I'm going to make, you know, I'm going to send letters. Queen, can you send letters to the other princesses and say, like, you know, I'm giving them free, you know, knowledge of Nen, like, I'm gonna train them and all that. And in these 3 letters, once they come here, I'll be able to, like, can you write these 3 letters? It's like, what is the point of this? It's like, the 3 points that I have for this is because he's trying to make them so they all come here, you know, there's no second guessing, like, oh, maybe they're more informed, like, you know, the younger princesses also know about, you know, the letters as well, so they're not like, oh, do they know about it, do they not? Also, so they can make it so, you know, there are no threats, and overall to get more info and, you know, try to find a way to get out of here. And we see the chapter ends where pretty much that's how Kurapika's play happens. Now I'm wondering if Serenich will, you know, take the bait and actually join. I highly doubt it. I think it's too early for Kurapika and himself to meet up. However, it will be a cool interaction if they actually do meet, because you'll be like, oh, that's the guy that collects the Kurta client eyes. Like, oh no. But in all honesty, chapter was great setup for what's to come in the future, and I can't wait to see much more going forward. Togashi's the GOAT, and I'm very excited to see where the story goes. Now, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more anime and manga, as well as more Hunter x Hunter content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.